City News is brought to you by East Brewster Lawyers Rotorua, celebrating 100 years of legal excellence and innovation.
Kia ora, tonight in this edition of City News. The Salvation Army seek the community's support for their Red Shield appeal. Rotorua Police are inviting the community to an elderly forum on Monday, and 4,000 competitors are expected to take part in Saturday's Rotorua Marathon. It's a Salvation Army Red Shield appeal this week, and collectors are out on the street seeking community support. Captain Brian Martin says money raised during the Red Shield week helps fund extra Salvation Army programs. He says there are collection stations around the city.
At both the countdowns in Rotorua, at the Tinai shops, out at Nongataha 4 Square, at the post shop in the city, Bunnings, and also there is New World supermarket, and probably some other places. There's a roving one in the mall somewhere as well, so you'll see people waving their baskets all over the place.
More on what's happening at the Sallies with Captain Brian Martin later in the show. Rotorua Police are inviting community to an elderly forum on Monday. Sergeant Steve Sutton says the forum is an information afternoon where people can find out about services available for the elderly. He says police, ACC, Red Cross and the Western Heights Community Association will speak about initiatives targeted at the elderly. The forum is on Monday between 1 and 3 p.m. at the Roosevelt Bible Church in Western Heights. Former Rotorua resident Professor Jane Harding was back in town earlier this week to present at a public seminar on women and children's health. The seminar is a Universities of Auckland and Otago Health Research Roadshow called Today's Research, Tomorrow's Health. Professor Harding says the series aims to raise public awareness about the quality and value of health research in New Zealand.
The idea of the roadshow is that it's hosted by the Universities of Auckland and Otago, the two big medical research universities in the country, to tell the public in general about the importance of health research, what fantastic health research happens in New Zealand and why it matters for New Zealand. One of the reasons where this particular phase of it is about women's and children's health is that we now know that women's health in very early life really determines your health for life and indeed into the next generation. So health around the time of birth, women's and children's health is really, really important.
Professor Harding's family lived in Rotorua for several decades and she graduated Dux from Rotorua Girls High School in 1972. She says since then her education and interests have led to a career in children's health.
Well, I was lucky enough to go to medical school when I left Rotorua and from there to Oxford to do a PhD, so I got into research, medical research at that time, and came back and trained as a specialist paediatrician and spent most of my career dividing my time between teaching at the university and doing research at the university and looking after small babies as a paediatrician.
And if you haven't had your say on the District Council's draft annual plan, you only have a day left to do so. RDC Corporate and Customer Services Group Manager Jean-Paul Gaston says while submissions usually come in towards the end of the consultation period, he was disappointed in the amount received so far. He says currently Council has only received 53 submissions. The full 120-page draft annual plan and online submission forms are available on the RDC website, rdc.govt.nz, and submissions close at 4 p.m. tomorrow. In sport tonight, it's the 49th annual Rotorua Marathon this Saturday and 4,000 competitors are set to take part in this iconic event. Organiser Murray Fleming says this year's runners from 16 countries are joining the event.
There's always been a lot of international athletes come to Rotorua because it is a spectacular race and it's around that geographical feature, so it's got that X factor to it.
And Murray Fleming says next year's 50th Rotorua Marathon will be extra special with an estimated 20,000 runners expected. To your weather update now. Tonight, the chance of a shower with northeasterlies, an overnight low of 11. Tomorrow for Friday, cloudy at times with a possible morning drizzle, some light winds, a high of 19 and a low of 12. And the outlook for Saturday, rain developing with northerly breeze, a high of 18 and a low of 11. And the marine forecast for Lake Rotorua, variable 5 knots with low waves, fair visibility in patchy morning and evening drizzle. Remember, for program listings and other info or to upload images, check out our website tvrotorua.co.nz. Still to come in tonight's program, Wayne Douglas finds out about X-Race, a new family-focused sporting event. We hear from Captain Brian Martin from the Salvation Army, and we revisit last week's Anzac commemoration.